What's going on, people? CP3 live from the lab, Sports on the Hill podcast, post-game live. Redskins week 1 defeats Arizona 24-6 on the road in State Farm Arena, or whatever they want to call it now. All I got to say is I was very impressed with the play calling. Jay actually stuck with the run. Adrian Peterson, 24 carries, 96 yards, and a touchdown. Alex Smith doing what he does. Let me look at the numbers. 21 for 30, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns. Adrian Peterson, Chris Thompson, 5 touches, 65 yards, 4 catches, 70 yards. Man had 10 touches, produced 130 yards of offense. Wide receivers, question mark. What's up, Eric? Finally a QB. Yes, Alex Smith, I always said when he first got signed that yes, he was an upgrade at the quarterback position. He got rid of the ball. He got out of bounds. He broke the pocket when needed. He didn't force anything. He didn't turn the ball over. They took 3 sacks, which I don't like, but it happens. But all in all, the offense looked pretty good. Some of the execution and the penalties, 9 penalties for 63 yards, is never a good thing. What's up, Robbie? What's up, Sherry? Glad y'all tuning in. Feel free to chime in. We do this every week after Redskins victory, loss, draw, whatever. We're going to do this every week. We had so much fun doing the last year, so we're going to do it again. And make sure you tune in for tomorrow night's show in the 8 o'clock hour when we have our Redskins talk. So you can call in, chime in, watch the video, do what you do. You know, we appreciate all the love and support for Sports on the Hill. You know, you can be watching these other shows, talking the same stuff, but, you know, we're going to break it down to the lowest degree and let y'all really know what's going on with this team. Now, getting back to the game, defense, I'm not going to say I was impressed. I like what I saw. I would like to see more pressure. I would like to see more sacks. We only got 2 sacks, 2 turnovers, which is always a plus. That's one of the keys of having a 3-4 defense, is creating pressure and getting turnovers and giving your team a short field. So going up 21-0 into the half, had 23 first downs at the first half. That was pretty damn impressive play calling by Jay. I've always been very critical of his play calling, but I must say he mixed up the pass and the run. He stuck with the run. I like him using the man in motion like Alex Smith had in Kansas City with Andy Reid. They did a lot of the wide receiver running in motion and running backs coming on the backside to fake the reverse. That gives the defense something else to think about, even though they didn't do the toss, but it's still going to give defenses something to think about that one day they will do the toss. Sherry said it's the first time in a long time I wasn't cursing at the TV. I can agree. I don't even think I raised my voice once looking at this game. So that is a pleasant surprise, and you got to give kudos to Jay for getting his first season opening victory. He was 0-4 before this game. So, like I said, y'all heard me dog Jay over and over again. But when he does good, I'm going to give him credit. When he doesn't, I'm going to put my foot on his throat. And for the most part, I like this Jay Gruden that we're seeing right now. It's only week 1. I know it's early, but he stuck with the run. He let Adrian Peterson, who's only been on the team for 3 weeks, get 24 carries. We couldn't get that from running backs that was on the squad the whole year. So I like that. We need to definitely see more from the wide receivers. I think they only had a combined 6 catches for the wide receivers, and Jordan Reed caught 4 of those. So he's technically a tight end, but you know what I'm saying. Crowder, he looks poised to have a good year. We saw Quinn go down. Hopefully it's nothing major. He was the punt returner. We don't know what's going to happen with that. Tracy said she missed it. The NFL Red Zone went out right before it came on. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I was actually streaming the game on the Fox Sports app along with watching it live. That's just what I do in the lab. And they had the red zone on, checking out all the highlights, and they going through the highlights. I think Carolina's still up on the Cowboys. I know everybody was still watching and wondering about that game, but I believe the Cowboys are still losing, so that's always a pleasant thing. But getting back to this game, what's going on, Love Strong? What's going on, baby? Glad to see you chiming in. Hey, Donna, what's up, Howard? Appreciate everybody tuning in. If you even want to come on, invite yourself. I'll bring you on. I'm not, I'm just talking post game. It's Victory Monday. Redskins starting out 1-0. Like I said, Jay Gruden got his first, season opening victory. So that's always a good thing. You got the Colts coming in next week for the home opener. I believe they lost today. So they'll be coming in looking to get a victory. Greg says, how about bringing in Dez Bryant and Junior Gillette on a cheap deal? Dez Bryant, no thank you. We have to develop the talent that we have. Putting him on the roster is not going to make the squad any better. Junior Gillette, ironically, I read an article last week that he's actually regretting not signing that $10 million deal with the Redskins because he thought he was going to get offers from other teams. And there's a week one, he's on the outside looking in. So it's still too early to say make any adjustments, picking up anybody. It's still early in the season. Sherry said Dallas fumbled and the Panthers won. Beautiful, beautiful. That's always a good thing. Giants lost, Cowgirls lost, Eagles won, Redskins won. Hey, it is what it is. Redskins in second place. I saw the standings already. Somehow the Eagles got, first place and we're second place. But 1-0 is better than 0-1. Special teams gave up a long return at the end of the game, which gave up that 6 points. I was rooting for the shutout. You heard him mention the shutout. They kind of jinxed it for us, but special teams played solid for most of the game until they broke down in that last, sequence. It was a couple of players ran into each other. It was a good blocking scheme, but I would have rather had the team had a shutout than 24-6. But like I said, if anybody wants to come on camera, anybody got any questions, comments, feel free. Invite yourself. I'll put you on. It's all love here. It's Redskin Nation, baby. It's victory, about to be Victory Monday. We starting out the season right. I just put Robbie just put the link out for all of our season. I believe 1-5, which is optimistic, but the team plays well. The defense plays well, like they started, and the team stays healthy. Anything is possible. What's going on, Robbie? How you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing well. Just moving my charger because my phone is at 2%. All right, there we go. Things are going well. Redskins win their opener of the season, which is we were 0 for 4 going into that with our coach, and I posted all of our picks ahead of time, and we were definitely losing. I had us losing this game. I'll be honest, just because usually I don't think that he takes the offseason seriously enough, and today that he did, and I got to show my son his first Redskins game ever, and it was a victory. So I was ecstatic, and it was a good game, and I can't believe we had 2 running backs combined for total yardage of something like 300 yards almost, like 2 guys going. Adrian Peterson was a beast, and I really like Chris Thompson catching it out of the backfield, and we even mixing some, Rob Kelly into that, and it was just a good, solid game all around, and I'm excited to, we posted our predictions before the game was over just so I would go back and see, and now after that game, I think your prediction is just as likely, if not better than mine is, because I had us at 7-9, but I had us losing this, and I said if we could win all 3 before the bye, we could get 10 wins. But if we only go like 1-2 before the week 4 bye, we'd only get 7 wins. So this is one of the games I didn't expect. If we could go and get those next 2 victories, it could set us up real well because there's some difficult parts to the season for sure.
Oh, no doubt, especially with an early bye. DujunneaB, I see you. I'm going to bring you on as soon as Robbie goes off.
Yep, I'm just going to say a couple of quick things, and then I'm going to jump off and I'll let DujunneaB get on. But I just wanted to celebrate and say hey to the Redskins. And it's been an incredible first game. I loved what Alex Smith did. He managed the game well. Obviously, Adrian Peterson played great. My only thing is just go down. I'd rather even go out of bounds there, put two hands on the ball. Just you can't. Luckily in this game it didn't come back to hurt us. But how many times does a fumble really set us up for failure in the past? So I think if he can work on that, and which I think that he will, and I think running back by committee seems to work at least week 1. So I'm happy, and the defense played lights out. And I was hoping for the shutout. We didn't quite get that. I didn't catch the end of the Dallas game, but did Dallas end up losing that game?
From what I see from the people said that Dallas fumbled and Carolina won. They actually showing the highlights on NFL Network I'm watching right now. But apparently Dallas lost also. So Giants lost, Cowboys lost, Redskins won, Eagles won. So good way to start the season out. And I'll let you go ahead and get back with Zach. We got some folks that want to chime in. Appreciate
for sure.
You, man. Ain't seen you in a while.
Yes, I'll be back at the beginning of November full time, but I'll definitely pop in over the next couple of weeks and do maybe a little Capitals report or try to come in for a couple of minutes here or there. But I'll definitely be back full time in November. And thanks for having me on, and look forward to hear what DujunneaB has to say.
All right, Robbie, holler at you later on, man. Appreciate it.
All right, later.
All right. So, yeah, that's Robbie. You know, the co-host of Sports of the Hill podcast. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night, starting at 7. Redskins talk normally at 8. I haven't figured out the schedule yet, so it'll be out tomorrow. I had a link out by the night, out for tomorrow. So let me get ready to bring on my man DujunneaB, another co-host of Sports on the Hill podcast, who I know definitely will be on tomorrow, talking NFL, Redskins, and everything else we cover. What's going on, DJ? How you doing tonight, good sir?
Doing good, man. Just staying busy. You know how it is. Getting ready. Figured I'd jump on with you real quick. Got articles to spit out and try to get ahead of the game, but yeah, got a little time right now.
Yeah, man. So, like I said, the game started out, 3-and-out the first time. I wasn't really mad too much, but I like Jay's mix of the play calling. Stuck with the run. Let AP, get going. Normally he would let a running back get like 3 or 4 carries and he'd disappear for 2 quarters and then try to get him going in the 4th. I like the way he attacked this game. His game plan was lovely. I mentioned the wide receivers in motion just to throw off the defense was another wrinkle that I saw that, always adds, to the offense that gives the defense something to think about. What did you take away from this offense besides the wide receivers not really having an impact on the game because the running game was so good?
I think what's important right out of the gate, and it's something that I talked about in my 3 keys to victory, was the team making sure that they kept the defense fresh. The offensive line, I know it was a big deal made about a lot of the starters not playing and wondering whether they were healthy or not. I think it's pretty much proof that they are. Very well. And that's where it started, in the trenches. I think everybody looks at everything else, but it started in the trenches for the Redskins. They mauled guys. They moved guys out of the way. They gave AP lanes. And, with him having the proper vision that he does as far as being able to see where he needs to go, he hits it and gets it done. He's very patient. And it showed throughout the game. They wore them down physically. And that's what you have to do when you do that. I think the last drive before when they scored 14, that was a 15-play, 73-yard drive for 9 minutes and 6 seconds. Okay, so their defense is out there getting beat down, and then they have to come back, and they have to come back out there, which results in another 7, which ends up taking them up 21 before the half. So. All those things are very important. I know Robbie had mentioned about the 2-back tandem, but that's something that Washington has been doing often. We know what Chris Thompson is. He's the Swiss Army knife. You're going to use him out of the backfield. You're going to use him out on the outside, in the slot, at some swing routes out of the backfield, what have you. So that's what they like to do. And this is where having a guy like Adrian Peterson is important. And to all of the people that thought that Adrian Peterson didn't have it, well, in your face. Because when you have a good offensive line, which he did not have in Arizona because of injuries. He did not really have that, and it didn't really fit his system. His style didn't. The system didn't fit the style of AP in New Orleans. He's unable to do what he needs to do. This guy is very physically fit, and Jay did an excellent job of mixing it up. And when you have something, I think this is something that it gets lost in all of it. Something that Washington hasn't done in the past is when something is working, continue to drive it down the opponent's throat until they make you do something else. The running game was working to perfection, couple mix-ups, whatever, to get it done, and they did that. And they kept doing it until it was stopped. And early in the second half, I thought they got a little out of wits, right? Coming right out of the gates, right? They get backed up. They looked a little bit unsavory. But what I did like about what Jay did, they came back when they got the ball back the second time in that second half. They still looked a little shaken. He did some things to get set up that big run by AP coming off that left side, because he set it up by bringing Paul Richardson around in that little end around situation and then absolutely running it to that other side in that same side where he brings that fake end around. So he was setting that up the whole entire time. Then he got back to doing what he was doing, seeing that some of the things they wanted to try, they were getting downhill too fast. So once again, hats off to Jay and his play calling. I think, he deserves to get a game ball for what he's done. And again, when you have those types of drives, when you have those long sustaining drives that end in touchdowns, you looking at 14 points, it put a lot of pressure on the Carolina, put a lot of pressure on the Cardinals. And you saw that early, allowed the defense to work and do what they do. And as long as you can do that consistently, now some games that the defense is going to have to win, there's no doubt. But when you do that consistently, you keep your defense fresh and they can get after it. And that's exactly what they did all day.
Yes, sir. That defense was playing lights out, like the way they was getting to the ball, like the way like I said, I wanted more pressure, but we got 2 turnovers, got 2 sacks. Ron Anderson got a sack, which was,
Yes.
that because we definitely want to see what he's going to do this year. I like what I saw from Payne. He was causing havoc in the middle. He was getting out. He got a couple of tackles. Mason Foster and Brown in the middle. I want to see more. I like what I saw, but I want to see more from them too, especially from the outside. Kerrigan, I know he's a little bit older now, but I didn't see him at all. So the back end played outstanding. And Dunbar, that dude, yeah. If they're gonna avoid Josh and gonna throw away his side and he continues to show up like that, I don't see too many receptions going to the outside with these 2 corners.
No. And what's going to happen is they're going to have to pick a poison, whether that's getting Fabian, going after Fabian and that them bringing Nicholson down and putting pressure on that slot guy or that tight end guy. There's a lot of things there that they've just created as far as headaches for the opposing team. Josh Norman, we know you're not going to throw to his side too many times, and you're going to do a couple scrub routes. You're not going to go one-on-one with him and throw up a 50-50 ball on Josh Norman. You're going to do some scrub things. You're going to do some things as far as some comebacks, maybe some double moves and some.
Oh, we just lost DujunneaB. Hopefully he'll be chiming back in. He always got some of that good insight, good knowledge. Just giving you a preview of some of the stuff we're going to break down tomorrow night on Sports on the Hill podcast. Coming to you live from the lab, post-game of the Redskins, Week 1 victory, 24-6 over the Arizona Cardinals. I figured they was going to win. DujunneaB figured they were going to win. But you never know until they get on the field and actually do it. Then we got the Colts coming in next week. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves. So like I said, we're about to have Victory Monday. Week 1, Redskins victory. It's always a good thing. Jay Gruden, first victory in the season opener. While we waiting on DujunneaB to come back, if anybody else want to chime in, here you go. Let me see if there you go. Got him back now. Boom. There we go. Yeah, you know how sometimes these signals fluctuate and set. So we got him back. You back with us, brother?
Yes.
All right, what's going on? Go ahead and finish your thought, my man.
But they usually use routes to try to scrub off the receiver and scrub him off the receiver to get some separation there. But I like what they have out there. Always have like Dunbar, very smart player. Again, he's a guy who played wide receiver. Understand what the wide receivers are trying to do as far as to get themselves a separation with the defensive back, and he makes his adjustments accordingly. Yeah, I'm with you. There's a lot of tackling issues that need to be corrected. I think Mason Foster said that in his post-game interview as well. There's some things they got to clean up there as far as the tackling goes. We know how Zach Brown is. He's very aggressive. Sometimes he gets out of position. You mentioned about Kerrigan. What I did notice about the Cardinals' offensive line was they really were saying, okay, we're going to allow you to come pass rush. And what we'll do is we'll step back far enough to where you're going to try to get around the end, but we're going to just keep pushing you up the field. And they're going to hope and wish that they can hold that little crevice there in the pocket and keep the front line good. And, what is his name? Bradford gets the ball out very quickly. That's one thing. David Johnson does an excellent job of kind of staying in and kind of hanging around there in the gap, and then he kind of sneaks out and gives him another option. But I thought Bradford did what Bradford does when he's healthy, and he gets the ball out quickly. He steps up in the pocket. And he makes it a little difficult for you to get to him. There's several times they got close, but by the time they got there, he just is releasing the ball a lot quicker. So, I don't take too much from that and they didn't blitz too much either. And when they did get some pressure and force it out a little earlier. But I think you have to be pleased with the secondary, being that they didn't have an opportunity to, basically shut it down and get those tackles. They had to make plays out there, and all of them did just that, bringing guys down. If they allowed catches, they weren't getting too much yak. So I thought the defense played fairly well. Again, there's some things that they can clean up, and I'm sure that they'll do that, and they understand that. It's a good start to the season. First win since Jay Gruden's inception as head coach in an opening day game. And people may not know this, but this is their first game that they've won since the 2012 season. In opening day, the New Orleans Saints was the last win on opening day for the Washington Redskins. So today, 1 turnover, which is better than most. They averaged about 2 to 4 turnovers in these last 4 games. 10 turnovers in the last 4 opening season games, and 13 turnovers since the 2013 season. So last time they had no turnovers in a football game in an opening game was the 2012 season when they beat the New Orleans Saints. So a lot of good things happening, but again, it's something that us as reporters have been saying all season long. It's just a professionalism with this football team. And you have to credit that with having a guy like Alex Smith in the building. Now you bring another person in, and Adrian Peterson knows how to go about that business. And you see it rubbing off on the guys, even Rob Kelly running harder. You see the little bit more aggressiveness from CT. And then, of course, Adrian Peterson running like a man possessed and not giving up as far as, on any runs and being physical. So those 3 guys, man, wear down the defense quick. And it showed today.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm looking at some of these numbers. 182 rush yards, 429 total yards of offense without the wide receivers truly stepping up and having to make plays. The running game was clicking well. You saw Alex Smith rolling out the pocket. You saw him breaking the pocket when needed. If the play was dead, there was no contemplation. There was no trying to make something happen. Either got rid of the ball or, threw or, got out of bounds or whatever. So I don't want to look, like I said, I don't even want to get into the Colts game. We'll get into that next week. Let's go ahead
Right.
This one a little bit more. So Jordan Reed, I must say, I was checking him out. His blocking definitely improved this game because he was definitely on the edge on some of those runs that AP was getting into up into the secondary. So you mentioned earlier when we were having our training camp weekly that he looked like he had been training differently or preparing differently. Now, I don't want to go out there because we know he hasn't played a whole 16-game season since he's been here. But
Right.
if he stay healthy and contribute and block like that, what do you see the expectations for this offense if he can play that well with all the other pieces around this offense?
Um, I I think it's dangerous. It's very lethal. And I think we know what Jordan Reed brings to this offense and what it does for a defense. It creates one-on-ones on the outside.
Ah, damn it, we lost DujunneaB again. You know how these signals be fluctuating. See if I can get him back real quick. But he's still on the line. But there you go.
But it allows like guys like Jamison Crowder to get easier looks, and then he's very difficult to cover. So it's not like he's just taking guys away and he's not going to be open. You choose to cover him one-on-one, you saw what happens today. Vernon Davis, then you add Vernon Davis, and we didn't even see Sprinkle yet. So I thought both tight ends blocked very well today. But Jordan Reed healthy in this offense, I don't think it's necessary for him to be in this offense. It's just another weapon that enables Jay to do way more when he's on the field because they have to account for him in the passing game. You send him out there on the route, you can sleep on him if you want to, and you can play all this zone and all that nonsense if you want to. Alex Smith is going to find him, and it's probably going to be for 12 or more. And if he catches ball in the middle of the field, he made some guys miss today and got some extra yards. He can do that as well. So it opens up things for Paul Richardson. Saw Paul get some leverage and get down the field. Wasn't able to connect with them, but that threat is there. That threat is there. And then you have Doxson. Guy made plays today. He dropped one, but that was an extremely tough catch. And he made a tough catch. So you see his improvement. And you saw that during the preseason, but you see his improvement there. And you add that, Jamison Crowder, and then we haven't seen Sims yet. I mean, it's just so many things. And they didn't have to do much with this offense. I mean, they didn't have to do much with this offense today against a Cardinals defense that they had pretty much on their heels all day, but they physically beat them. And that's really what it boils down to. I think fans just need to take that away from today. In the trenches, those boys, including Sean Laval, were physical today and murdered them in the trenches. And when you're physical like that, over a 60-minute ball game, it's going to wear on you. And you saw it early. That's why they were up 21-0. Now, I'm sure fans will, I would have liked to have seen them put their foot on the gas and gotten another touchdown outside of that field goal. But at the end of the day, you have to be satisfied. They were able to burn clock and run it down and put the pressure on them to force them to be in a tight situation to have to go win the game. And they needed 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions. So it was out of reach unless the defense pretty much just took a dump on the field at that point. So this has been a long time since you've actually seen a team like this Redskins team go out and be physically imposing and be able to manage the clock and the clock be in the Redskins' favor and put the pressure on the opposing team to have to make something happen quickly because time's running out.
No doubt. The time of possession was 38 minutes for the Redskins and 22 minutes for Arizona. So when you're running the ball, you're getting them off the field. I don't think they got a third down conversion until the fourth quarter. So the defense was doing what they needed to do, getting
Absolutely.
pressure, getting off the field, getting loose, getting batted balls, constant pressure. They didn't let Fitzgerald, he's an older guy now. He isn't the same dynamic dude, but he can still take over a game. They tried to get him to take over the game. He had a couple of catches. He had a push off on Swearinger that surprisingly nobody saw, but everybody did see that didn't get called. But it's definitely good. This is what I've been waiting for this defense for so long, and it's just good to see finally that the team has addressed it. They're putting it together on the field now. If they can stay healthy and continue to play like this, the sky's the limit for this team and this defense. Let me get some of the folks that commented. Kevin Fox said Smith had no interceptions so far, so good, but that's what he does. He always has single-digit interceptions whenever he plays. So that's why we talked about when we first picked him up on our Facebook Live back then that we figured it was an upgrade because he had last year alone, he had 12 less interceptions and 8 less fumbles than the previous quarterback that was. I'm not going to mention his name so long. But that's a big change, and that's a big difference, and that's a big impact on your team. That's 20 potential turnovers that could have done it drives, gave teams a short field, swung momentum, and done a whole different other thing, a lot of things in the game that you're taking out of the equation, so to speak, because you know how the team isn't going to. So this is an upgraded quarterback. I don't care what anybody says, and what he did on the field today just goes to show.
Absolutely. And that's what he does. He's a guy that's not going to turn it over. He only had 5 interceptions last year, and he's very smart with the football, and I don't expect that to change.